Hello, I am Chylli from channel Chylli, also known as Chai, and we are back for more Limbus Company, finishing off the rest of the Twinning Threads Invervallo. So yeah, let's just get right into it here. See, you're already looking much better with those superfluous animal parts removed. You're serious about founding your own movement. I already answered that. But you'll need time, under the Favis wing at least, until you can fully cultivate your movement. Perhaps. I don't suppose words have any meaning now. The docent raised her giant arm as though to strike us in her final act of defiance, then slammed it down upon the door we entered through instead. All I can do is buy time for... Mid-sentence, the docent suddenly went limp like a marionette whose strings were cut. Dead. Here I thought at least her last words were going to be succinct. Thus we are made foes with yet another finger, the ring. Let's not doom and gloom already, fellas. We beat an officer of the fingers all on our own for the first time, didn't we? I see this as a pretty definite win. All on your own. Come on, bro, I was fighting my ass off out there. Gregor has a point. The outcome of the battle wouldn't have changed by a significant margin if you had not been here, Kira. This is more like it. Won't have to freak out over a mere BB anymore, long as we're with Clock. Don't start congratulating yourselves for achieving the bare minimum. Those who celebrate over a small occasion don't deserve to stand beside the executive manager. Well, I guess this isn't impressive at all to people who used to be much stronger like Otis or Don Quixote. Prithee, speak not such folly, for the joy of my compatriots is my own. Have you any inkling as to why she might have, in her final moments, elected to demolish the door? Right? It's not like we're a shortage of doors in here. Are we really debating the logistical thought process of someone who was 2 seconds away from dropping dead? Come on, let's just get out of here so we can bring everyone else up to date. Didn't I just leave the room? Ishmael walked out through the door we'd entered through and appeared from behind us. Oh shit, where'd the exit go? Don't tell me the exit changes every time someone walks through it. No, can't be that easy. I am barred from enjoying the fresh air of the outside world. No longer free to travel the mountains and cliffs as my feet would carry me, as the other members of the Pinky are. I wish to no avail that I should be allowed to weave the delineations of wings and back streets. So this is what she meant. The back door through which we traversed is the passage to the corridor of the one called the Index Nurse Father. Cross the broken door we might, however, it avails us. But a brief jaunt to the Pinky Nurse Father's Azure corridor afore it returns us to this room. Room's now locked in a loop without a starting point. Won't matter what door we go through. Is there anything we can do? A rescue team will arrive in time, as this location adheres to the regular flow of time, unlike the warp trains. It would be approximately between a week or two from the present before we can return. That's pretty long. Well, the first problem we're gonna have to deal with is food. As far as I'm aware, we should be able to go for at least 3 days. Thanks, Rhodia, so let's... I didn't bring any snacks. It's not like we're about to walk into one of Elcor's branches or a dungeon, so... Yeah, makes sense. Looks like we're gonna have to give this room a thorough search then. No need. If there's no exit, we'll cut open our own. What about the part where it cuts into your memories too? Deal with that yet? No, with the sword, it still cleaves my memories with every slash. Don't know what memory it'll slice away this time, but it'll be something recent. Or one I hold dear. Wait, don't be so bloody rash about it. Other than me, no one but Heathcliff still remembers the person he holds dear in the loving depths of his heart. Ever since the day in the Sepia Tempest, memory took its special precious meaning to Heathcliff. Heathcliff suddenly reached out and sought Ryoshu's arm. Though Ryoshu and Heathcliff's circumstances were undoubtedly different from each other, it was clear that Ryoshu's reckless attitude towards sacrificing her own memories triggered a sort of anxiety in Heathcliff. What? Didn't you hear? Them nerds will be here in a week or two to get us out. Why don't we just keep that sword nicely in the scabbard and wait it out? The radio doesn't work. What if we went up to the rooftop and entered one of the doors up there? There are thousands of them. Out of the question. By doing so, we will be putting ourselves at a greater risk, that of casting ourselves into the endless maze that is the corridor. Okay, well, we're dead meat if the brick wall of a maestro wanders right into this room. That wolf lady's last words, man, I'm seeing the flags. It's a hella risky move, yeah, but I think Yoshihide and her OP sword is our best bet. Right, but what if we got lucky and they find us in a day or two? Quit freaking out, HC. It will only be forgotten, not lost. Well, good memories don't tend to last very long. It's been a fun excursion, Clock. I looked toward the scabbard, expecting it to rattle violently as it did earlier, but it remains still. The white blade soon reveals itself, and cuts across the wall where the door used to be. And naturally, as the Arayashiki's blade cleaves through the walls, so does it Ryoshu's memories. Oh, you're really getting somewhere. At the strand of Araya's image, which had just begun to coalesce, slowly unraveled and fell apart once again. Even still, Arya released the blade without hesitation. But it's okay, we'll try again, so... Conveying no resentment, no hatred, but a few words of consolation. Don't feel too bad, as her voice faded into the gentle dark with Ryoshu's memories. Okay, this is the last level. I kind of expected that one to be a bit longer. Welcome back. Question, what exactly was the point of verifying every back door within the House of Spiders? Oh, Hohenheim didn't fill you in? Any information regarding these doors holds an enormous value to us. Not to mention the higher-ups requesting us to organize the House of Spiders into a base of operations as soon as possible, even if we had to rush our work a little. Only speculating here, but I'm quite convinced they're preparing for a conflict of sorts. These little pockets of absolute safety are extremely valuable during these operations, as you already know. We stop right there. What sort of conflict? What operation? Are you saying that your bosses are preparing for a war or something? Just feels like there isn't enough alarm in his voice, considering what he's saying. Preparing for what? Not even trying to hide it anymore. Did I say something wrong? Must you ask to know? I thought everyone already knew. I mean, it's an open secret at this point. L Corp's already fallen. W Corp is teetering on the brink of collapse. You called us the aspirant W Corp. We call Limbus Company the aspirant L Corp. Meaning we have a shared goal. But unlike the dead and gone L Corp and the current W Corp still kicking, despite its rapid decline in recent years. And as we all know, companies in the city aren't worth much unless they've got the military force to back them up, right? It's only natural that a business conflict would lead to a physical one as well. This is just a mere team leader speaking, though. Who knows what the higher-ups in our companies are thinking? Either way, much fruitful collaboration was had today. This will reflect pretty well in our performance metrics, and we didn't even suffer that many losses. I can safely say you should expect a positive review from us regarding this collaboration. After saying our farewells to Alan, we returned to the forward base, and shared with Hohenheim everything that happened so far. Hohenheim and Faust both did not seem willing to discuss the subject of the looming conflict, so we instead decided to have Ryoshi's memory and sword re-examined. Boy, Hohenheim, results out yet? Not yet, assistant. I clearly remember telling you 3 minutes ago that it would take about 20 more minutes. Have you forgotten already? He talks too much. Yoshi sounded irritated as she scolded Heathcliff, but I could sense a definite undercurrent of anxiety from the way she kept puffing her cigarette to a stub at increasingly shorter intervals. This room might be more smoke than oxygen at this point. Mind slowing down a tad? You're practically fumigating the room with cigarette smoke. Then speed up, glasses. Gonna bounce as soon as I hear the results. Both of you need to learn to respect the things that take time. Yes, time is indeed relative, but the fact that I have managed to complete an in-depth analysis of an item of such mystery in a single day is an incredibly fast turnaround, and therefore deserves your appreciation. I've been attempting to rein in the more self-indulgent part of myself as of late, but I believe this achievement deserves to be elaborated upon. It is an evident truth that such a result could not have been replicable had it not been for my genius brain. Go out to the hallway and grab some passing researcher and tell them about my incredible turnaround time, and you will hear them say, "Whoa, done already?" And to that I will answer, STFU. Evidently tired of the two sinners alternating turns hounding him for results, Hohenheim seemed to speed up the analysis, and managed to hit the finish line much earlier than 20 minutes. Whoa, done already? Yeah, there are times when test results are extracted earlier than a predicted time frame. Many of these instances are easily attributable to my genius at work. Then why aren't you saying anything? Give me the TR now. You did tell me to shut the fuck up, so I'm attempting to observe the exact merits of doing precisely that. You think Yoshihide would ever use known acronyms straight? What if it's something like, sheesh, that's a full day unwinding after work though? And your verdict on her interpretation? That is exactly what I meant. She's better than MTL in some ways. How she lies as she breathes. At that moment, I might have caught a glimpse of the scabbard rattling slightly atop the examination device, almost as though it were giggling. Very well then, I'll get right into it. First, the memory of the time she was complimented for her cooking has been erased. Apologies, I had to take a moment to sneeze there. That's it? Hardly. Second, her name has been erased from her memory. Do you recall the name of the man who works with Manager Sod? Effie? I would have asked in past tense had it been him who I was referring to. Glad Miss Sod wasn't here for that. That kid, right, I don't remember his name. She forgot Pilot's name? That she did, among other miscellaneously deleted memories, are 172 hours of Don Quixote's tales of adventures, and the types of food she fed to a seagull. Fie upon it, dost thou say the memories most precious to young Ryoshu and me have been thrown into utter destruction? Look, Donkey, I'm not trying to be mean here, but that seems pretty acceptable, doesn't it? For the price of unsheathing a sword like that. If we're going by sheer volume, I want to say its mileage is acceptable. It erased several days' worth of memories just for a single swing, didn't it? I mean, yeah, but they kind of sound like inconsequential memories, don't they? Greg and Heath forget stuff all the time. How's that any different? The seemingly inconsequential nature of these particular memories wasn't achieved by sheer luck. In fact, it seems to have been impacted by the scabbard of the Ariashiki, or to be more precise, the power of Arya's ego. That's so. Ryoshu looked down at the scabbard with an uncertain, hollow look in her eyes. All that remains of Arya in Ryoshi's recollection is a blank space where the fragments of her existence used to be, severed and removed again. While it takes a rather significant amount of time, the Scubber seems to be, yes, capable of selecting which of Senna Ryoshu's memories are to be erased, at the cost of using Ariyashiki. Sounds like I should be grateful then. But Ryoshu regards the scabbard with a conflicted look, as though to approximate the outlines of the void she left behind. So it's got like a cooldown timer. She can use it whenever, as long as she gives it time to select the trivial memories. I wouldn't be so quick to dismiss them as trivial, the memories of the time when you were complimented for your cooking. It was quite a precious memory, wasn't it? You performed an inverse calculation of the relic's cost. Yes, according to our measurements, the sword seems to factor in the weight of each memory when calculating the cost of wielding it. It's become rather clear that it takes more than light memories to properly wield it. However, memory's been restored. As presumed, attempts to recall the erased being's existence have resulted in failure. That is quite discouraging. But not all is lost. Simply by knowing that something used to be in that negative space, many things can still be reminisced upon. Like Ryoshu said, forgotten but not lost. Clock, you just stepped foot into the world of Sangria. She flashes the briefest of smiles and scatters it away with a plume of cigarette smoke. Collecting the GB will restore it. What used to be here in the pocket of a void in my heart, my one and only. Ryoshu's gaze traced the invisible, the imperceivable. A few more days passed us by. We didn't spend those days idling. We visited, sought, and piloted in recovery. Did a few odd jobs here and there, like helping suppress a distortion containment breach caused by a new LCE hire. But with all the loose threads tied up, we managed to finally, after so long. And it feels like we're home again. Return to the bus. Bus, sweet bus. The chair could use a little more cushioning, but there isn't anything like it out there. Damn, this is your ride. Hella badass. Between the two individuals who are looking rather pleased at Kira's astonishment, Hohenheim squeezed through to warn us about something to watch out for. I asked Team Leader Allen to set the coordinates somewhere as close as possible to the nest. Keep driving through the door and it will bring you right to an empty spot on a highway. Don't hesitate or hit the brakes, because if by any chance there's a car dreading behind you, it will crash into the bus. So what are you doing here on the bus? Decided to join the better team, did ya? I must admit to a certain degree of interest in hearing of your exploits, but to accompany you through them is an entirely different matter, isn't it? I'm only here to adjust your coordinates. Speaking of which, how did you manage to escape your confinement? I told him I had some stuff to help you with, and they let me out without making me scribble over some docs. And they let me out after making me scribble over some docs. Solitary confinement's hella boring, so I thought I might get some air. Might as well say goodbye too while I'm out and about, right? I see, you exploited the fact that the new hires didn't have any grudges against you. I thought I told him to impress upon the new hires that prisoners are to be treated as exceptions to the... Oh right, the person in charge of that training is currently checked into the long-term recovery ward. More problems stemming from the shortage of manpower. I'd best include this in the report. Sounds like they're both here to see us go. Well then, time for a valediction, I suppose. Perhaps I've grown far too used to seeing your faces. Saying goodbye doesn't come out as easily as I expected it to. Another day of reunion must await in the future. I would appreciate it if such a reunion had a low probability of occurring. While I'm not very partial to mathematical statistics like the probability theory, I hope your prediction is dead right. Well then. Hey Yoshihide. What? I want to say we're family exactly, but... Listen, there's a lot of stuff I want to say to you, and a lot of stuff I want to hear from you, okay? So... SYL. Did I do that right? Acronimize it to L. And call me Ryoshu, not Yoshihide. Prefer the echoes of that name. After a round of goodbyes, the two disembarked from the bus, and no sooner had the machinery clicked into place than the bus's wheels finally began to turn, bringing us closer and closer toward a blindingly radiant portal massive enough to engulf the bus whole. Well, off to our next destination, I guess. Oh right, where are we heading to next? Dante inquires about the next destination for Chylli. Now that's more like it. Been too bloody long since I heard that question. Yeah, don't get too excited. When has an answer to that question ever led us to anywhere that's not downright bizarre? Virgilius gave me a faint, knowing smile as though to confirm Ishmael's pessimistic remark, then delivered a comment that sounded too lighthearted for his gravity. Downright bizarre, is it? Well, let me just say, it's high time we face such a sight. Our next destination is District 14. In other words, Manager Dante, we are now en route to Incorp. So we are going there after all. Incorp. Plenty of faces there I'd rather not see. As the rest of the senators voice their various gripes and discontent with Incorp, Ursa, who probably had the most amount of history with the wing, simply flipped open his newspaper like usual and began reading it with the same unchanging expression. As though for him, none of this changed anything. Now departing, vroom vroom. With that, the bus resumed its journey to yet another tale. And there we go, that's the rest of the Invervallo all done. So, if you made it this far, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Not going to be Limbus Company, that's going to be a while, but yeah, I'll see you next time when whatever video that is comes out. So yeah, until then, bye!